What's going on, Dolphins? It is your boy Dillon, and as I told you guys in my earlier video, I was planning to watch the Baltimore Ravens and Las Vegas Raiders game as a scouting. Well, one, because I love football and I'm trying to, learn more and more about not just the game itself, but also the various different teams in the league. Their strengths, their weaknesses, personnel, and so on and so forth. But we do play both of these teams, and I told you that I would do scouting reports each and every week for each and every team that remains on our schedule. And so I already did one for this week, the Jacksonville game. I forgot already who they played, but it is what it is because my mind is in a different mode. Both of these teams happen to be on our schedule, so I will be highlighting both. In the future, if only one of the teams in the game that I'm highlighting is on our schedule, I'm only going to focus on that one team. But conveniently for me, both of these teams happen to be on our schedule, so it kills two birds with one stone. So I'm going to start off. Before I get into that, I do have some Dolphins news to let you know about. And then I'm going to give you my overview of the game. I'm going to give you the stat breakdown and the score breakdown and stuff. And then I'm going to tell you where these teams fall in the league standings in several different categories, like yards and stuff like that, et cetera, et cetera. And then at the very end, I will give you an update on where the Dolphins stand in those same different category or in those same categories to wrap it up. So the first thing that I do want to talk about, like I said, is a little bit of actual Dolphins news. And so one of the things is that the Dolphins have decided to cut fullback Carl Tucker from the practice squad. That was put out there, and they have also activated Will Fuller because he has finished his suspension. So he will be back, obviously, for the Bills game. In addition to that, though, I did want to give you an update on Raekwon Davis and Austin Jackson as well. So let's jump into that. Miami Dolphins head coach Brian Flores gave an update on defensive lineman Raekwon Davis after he left Sunday's Week 1 win over the New England Patriots with an injury. Miami Dolphins coach Brian Flores said he doesn't know the severity of defensive tackle Raekwon Davis's injury, and made clear that Austin Jackson remains the team's starting left tackle. So Austin Jackson traveled with the team, didn't end up playing. Liam Eichenberg got the nod, but Austin Jackson is going to retake his left tackle position. So there you have it. We should expect that for the Buffalo Bills game. Now, back to Davis. Davis left the game in the first quarter, limping with what appeared to be a knee injury. He returned wearing a brace, sprinted along the sideline, and looked ready to go back in the game. But Flores suggested the Dolphins didn't feel comfortable putting him back in the game without doing more tests. The team is taking the cautious approach with Davis, but it's concerning the Dolphins, and Flores didn't think he was healthy enough to return to action. Miami picked up the win regardless. Davis, a second-round pick, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so at the end of the day, and I think, he later on went to say that they are doing more tests, so we have to wait and see. So that obviously is a developing thing, but as previously mentioned, hopefully it doesn't remain a thing, doesn't get worse or anything like that, because we really need him. All right, so that's the quick Dolphins news. Let's go ahead and jump into this game. So first and foremost, what a fucking game it was, man. It ended up going into overtime. It was in Vegas, so it was, a home game for the Las Vegas Raiders in their brand new stadium. And man, oh man, oh man, what a game. The first half, honestly, was very defensive heavy. The offenses couldn't really get into much of a rhythm. Baltimore got a little bit more into, their offense and were able to, take a lead in the first half. But, as the game went on, going into the second half and then pushing into overtime, you could tell the defenses were getting tired. And the offenses were definitely starting to get in a rhythm and starting to move the ball better. But look, I at the end of the day, and this is just obviously week one, but this is why I'm going to be doing these scouting reports each and every week so we can keep updates. So after just week one, man, I gotta say both these teams actually look pretty good. Obviously, Baltimore's dealing with all the running backs, but the guys that they used tonight, Latavius Murray and I forgot the other kid's name. I'll mention it when I go through the stats. I can't remember his name, but they had some good running, and then obviously Lamar Jackson is gonna be a part of that. I think he actually ended up being their leading rusher, and man, he looked great tonight. So and a few weeks from now, they are going to get some of their wide receivers back and stuff like that. Both teams sustained a couple injuries in this game, a couple of which look like they could be serious. So that obviously will be a developing story for them. But Baltimore looked really good, man. And I think that now, like I said, I am going to give you their current, after week one, their current league standings in various categories. But I think that you could see, as far as offense goes, I think, Baltimore definitely could be a top, I don't know, 15, a top 16, a top 10 offense. And I think the Raiders, they have some weapons and they have the ability, and Derek Carr's a pretty good quarterback, and their line's not bad. Neither is their run game, but they need to get it together. But potential-wise, I could see them probably being middle of the pack, maybe in the upper portion, maybe, top 16. I don't know if they're going to reach top 10 status, or if they could, but I mean, they do have some weapons, and if they stay healthy, they could be something. And then defensively, I definitely think that, again, they both have weapons. They both have, edge rushers that they can get. They both have good corners. So it's going to be interesting to see, like I said, how things develop throughout the year. But these are not games. I mean, we play Vegas in week 3, and that is an away game for us. So that's, a home game for them. And then we do play Baltimore in Miami, but that's not until week 10. So, that one's obviously a bit further away. And, the Vegas one is sooner, but, they're not going to be easy games. As of right now, I still have us beating the Raiders and losing to Baltimore, but, we'll see how that plays out throughout the season. Obviously, injuries, will be a part for us, for them, so we'll see. And like I said, Baltimore is obviously not until week 10, so that's a ways down the road, and, things could be way different by then. So, yeah, all right. Well, now let's actually add to that context, though, with some hard data and some statistics. So let me go ahead and flop over here real fast. So as you see, Raiders did come away with the 33-27. They ended up scoring a touchdown in overtime. But, man, it was... And even the overtime was wild. I would definitely, if you're a fan of football and you like watching football, I would recommend this game. It was a really good one. It was exciting. Like I said, started off pretty defensive heavy, and then, the offenses woke up and started moving their thing, towards in the second half and back. But, man, it was phenomenal. It was a phenomenal game. Raiders came away with their win in their opener. Real quick, for some reason, I don't know why, but every time I do click on team stats here, it just disappears. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read, I have another source. It's actually the same source, but on my phone, the NFL app on my phone. I'm just going to pull it from there because it disappears on here for some reason. So let me give you the team stats. Vegas had 491 total yards. Baltimore had 406. Vegas had 409 passing. Baltimore had 217. Vegas had 82 rushing. Baltimore had 189. Vegas was actually they were both 6.1 yards per play. Vegas had Baltimore had 2 fumbles. Vegas had 1 interception. Vegas was 46% third down conversion. Baltimore was 25. Vegas had the ball 34-08 to Baltimore's 32-14. Vegas had 10 penalties to Baltimore's 5. And then, as you can see here, for the Ravens, Lamar Jackson was 19 for 30, 235, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Rushing, Lamar Jackson led the way, 12 carries, 86 yards, and a 7.2 average. Tyson Williams, that's his name. Actually, that's what I thought too. I should have just put it out there. Had confidence in myself. I should have. Anyway, though, he had 9 rushes, 65 yards, 1 touchdown, and a 7.2 average, right? So, and then Latavius Murray, you throw in another 10 for 28 and a score. So, I mean, their run game is still looking pretty good. Plus, they do have Devontae Freeman and Le'Veon Bell on the practice squad. They are expected to get their, wide receivers back in a few weeks. Certainly by the time that we play them, right? So, this Baltimore offense could be really scary, and they have a really good defense too. So that's not going to be an easy game whatsoever. Receiving, Sammy Watkins was 4 of 8 for 96. Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, was 6 of 6 for 69 and a score. Tyson Williams had 3 of 4 for 29. Mark Andrews, 3 of 5 for 20. Patrick Richard, 2 of 3 for 15. And then on the other side of the ball for the, actually, hang on. Real quick, let's see. Let's get into the fumbles and stuff. Lamar Jackson had 3 fumbles, lost 2 of them. Devin Duvernay had 1, but it was not lost. Anthony Averett had the interception. A few passes defensed. And here you go. Just take a quick look. You guys can see it. You can pause the video if you want to take a deeper look at this. But here you go. There's the defensive statistics there, because I'm gonna give you guys their league standings, so I'm not really gonna talk about it too much. All right, moving on to the other side of the ball. Derek Carr was 34 of 56 for 435 yards, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Josh Jacobs had 10 rushes for 34 yards, 2 touchdowns and a 3-4. Marcus Mariota had 1 rush. It was an interesting play. It was earlier on in the game. They put him back there, and it was like a read option or something, and he ended up I don't know exactly. It was like an RPO or something like that, a repass option, and he ended up keeping it and ran for 31 yards straight up the gut. And then you had Kenyon Drake, 6 rushes, 11 yards, and 1.8. So, yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, right? So these numbers don't pop out quite as much as the other side, and I think that's what I'm saying. The Raiders didn't seem quite as comfortable or efficient on offense. At least they started to get into a groove definitely later on, but they were struggling early on for sure. So, but Darren Waller was 10 for 19, 105 yards and a touchdown. Brian Edwards, 4 of 5, 81. Hunter Renfrow, 6 of 9, 70. Kenyon Drake, 5 of 5, 59. Zay Jones, 2 of 2, 46 and a score. I mean, it's not like they don't have playmakers though, right? So Henry Ruggs, 2 of 5 for 46. Alec Ingold, 4 of 4 for 22, right? Let's see. Here's the fumbles. Derek Carr had 1. Quentin Jefferson, Carl Nassib had a couple forced. Perryman and Philon had recoveries, a couple passes defensed here, and just as a quick look, you guys can pause it if you care to see what the rest of the defense had and in the kicking game. So there you have it. There is one other thing that I do wish to talk about, and so I am actually going to switch this up a little bit because I made up a little document. Here we go. If I can pull it up. Here we go. Okay, so we are going to take a look at this here. I will be doing this for each one of these little, scouting report videos. So the teams in the game and in the video that are relevant, I will give you their league standings, and then I will give you the Dolphins updated league standings at the end. So Vegas is on the left, Baltimore is on the right. All stats are in per game format, so it's going to be, their total offense, on a per game basis, right? The average of all of it, right? So total offense, the Raiders, and this is obviously just after week 1, and when it comes to some of these stats like interceptions and fumbles, it is important to note that technically there's going to be a lot of teams that are tied with like 0 or 1 or whatever, right? So that is important to keep in mind, but let's go through this. So after week 1, the Las Vegas Raiders are first in the league in total offense. The Ravens are 11th. In passing offense, Vegas is first, Baltimore 22nd. Rushing, Vegas is 21st, Baltimore is first. Scoring offense, Vegas comes in at 5th, and the Ravens come in at 12th. Total defense, this is yards, by the way. Total defense in yards, the Raiders come in at 21st, and the Baltimore Ravens come in at 32nd. Passing, 9th for the Raiders, 32nd for the Ravens. Rushing, 32nd for the Raiders, and 11th for the Ravens. Scoring defense, so how many points they've allowed on average per game after just 1 week, obviously. Vegas is 18th. Ravens are 25th. In takeaways, Vegas is 5th. Ravens, it's those R's, man, are 10th. Interception, the Raiders are 4th. The Ravens are 13th. Fumbles, 18th for the Raiders, 1st for the Ravens. In sacks, the Raiders are 4th. The Ravens are 5th. And passes defensed, I went kind of deep here because I was having a lot of fun with it. So passes defense, the Raiders are 20th and the Ravens are 8th. And as I mentioned and promised, I will do a quick update for the Dolphins. So in total offense, which is yards, we are 27th. Passing, we are 26th. Rushing, 24th. Scoring, 22nd. In defense, total defense, which is in yards, we are 17th. Passing, we are 19th. Rushing, 21st. Scoring, 6th. Takeaways, 8th. Interceptions, 22nd. Fumbles, 4th. Sacks, 27th. And passes defensed, 10th. So, there you have it. That is my scouting report for week 1 for the Baltimore Ravens and the Las Vegas Raiders, along with updated league standings for both those teams and the Miami Dolphins, along with a little bit of Miami Dolphins news as well. So with that, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you guys appreciate my perspective. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. Share my channel and videos with your friends and family. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comment section. And of course, as always, follow me on Twitter at Dillon Tartaro. And with that, I am out. I'll see y'all soon. Phins up.